Today we're taking a look at these NFL matches, which are happening on Thursday, August 4, 2022, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 360 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting picks that ends up costing you a lot of money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Going back to our video, we will give you 2 betting picks for each game, a team pick and a total pick based on facts and detailed explanation. So make sure to watch our videos till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Las Vegas Raiders vs Jacksonville Jaguars. Our team pick is Las Vegas Raiders, minus 1.5 points. And here is why. The Jacksonville Jaguars wrapped up their year, having earned a 3-14 mark. In their last contest of 2021, the Jaguars took on the Colts and notched a win by a score of 26-11. Rickle Armstead led the offense in rushing for the Jaguars with 9 totes for 52 yards, 5.8 yards per carry. Marvin Jones averaged 12.6 yards per catch by recording 88 yards on 7 receptions. Trevor Lawrence went 23-30 seconds with 223 yards passing and 2 TDs. He had a QB rating of 111.8 and ended the contest with no picks. Against the run, the Jaguars conceded 94 yards on 18 tries, which averages out to 5.2 yards per rush surrendered. Jacksonville gave up 17 pass completions on 29 tries for 139 yards and a completion rate of 58.6%. Overall, they had 64 plays which gave them a total of 318 yards. The Jacksonville Jaguars ended up running the ball 31 different times and totaled 101 yards, which had them averaging 3.3 yards per attempt. Regarding scoring, the Jacksonville Jaguars had an average of 14.9 points per outing. As a unit, they held an average of 103.2 yards in the run game, which was 22nd in the NFL. The Jaguars tallied 5,191 total yards for the prior season. Jacksonville had 178 first downs as an offense, and they were called for 104 infractions for 856 yards. They turned the ball over 29 different times, 17 interceptions and 12 fumbles. Jacksonville totaled 12 passing touchdowns and 13 rushing touchdowns. Regarding passing yardage, the Jaguars gave up 3,875 yards, which put them in 17th in the National Football League. Over the course of their 17 games, they surrendered 227.9 yards per contest via the pass and allowed a completion percentage of 69.4%. They yielded 353.1 yards game, ranking them 20th in the league. They surrendered 24 throwing touchdowns as well as 22 touchdowns on the ground. Opposing teams ran for an average of 4.3 yards per run and 125.1 rushing yards per game last year. For the season, they gave up 2,127 rushing yards through 17 games. The Jaguars were ranked 28th in the NFL when it comes to team defense, allowing 26.9 points per contest. If you were hoping to see the reunion of Clemson teammates Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne, you're going to have to wait a little while longer. Per NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, both the star quarterback and running back have been ruled out for Thursday's game. Josh McDaniels comes from the Bill Belichick coaching tree, which means every game is taken seriously. Even the Hall of Fame game, which will consist of mostly backups, will be an opportunity for the Raiders to make a statement right out of the gates. These are both returning head coaches, but it has been 12 years since McDaniels has been in this position with an NFL coach. It's hard to imagine him treating this as a throwaway game. And the same could be said for Doug Peterson, even though he hasn't been out for nearly as long. That's when it simply boils down to the fact that the Raiders are the better football team. Derek Carr has acknowledged there are receivers outside of Davante Adams capable of making a significant impact this season. This will be an opportunity for those players to show up against a Jags defense that's been shaky in recent years. Nick Mullins is an experienced and capable backup to exploit the Jags right out of the gates, and this could also be one of those flash-in-the-pan Jarrett Stidham games that gets people buzzing way too early. Not to mention, Stidham already has a built-in connection with McDaniels from their time in New England. That Jags offensive line also remains a big concern for Jacksonville entering the 2022 season. This game will end with a trio of Jags quarterbacks leaving with bruises. I'm laying the points and taking the Raiders in this one. Our total pick is over 32.5 points. And here is why. The Raiders wrapped up their year having a 10-7 record. When they last stepped on the field last year, the Raiders took a defeat with a final score of 26-19 when they played the Bengals. Josh Jacobs ran the ball 13 times for 83 yards, walking away from the game with 6.4 yards per carry for Las Vegas. Hunter Renfrow was featured in the passing game for the Raiders, snagging 8 balls for 58 yards, 7.3 yards per reception. Derek Carr, 1 TD, finished the game with 310 yards on 29 54ths through the air, while his QB rating was 69.2. He threw 1 pick, and his average yards per attempt was 5.74 yards. Las Vegas conceded 25 run attempts for 83 yards, 3.3 yards per rush. The Raiders' passing defense allowed a completion percentage of 70.6%, surrendering 225 yards on 24 for 34 passing. The Raiders finished the game with 385 yards on 71 plays, 5.4 yards per play. Las Vegas rushed for 7.4 yards per carry, finishing with 103 yards on 14 attempts. In relation to their ability to score points, the Raiders had a ranking of 18th in the league, scoring 22.0 points per contest. Throughout last season, the Raiders racked up 4,567 yards via the pass, as well as an average of 268.6 passing yards per outing, giving them a rank of 6th out of all NFL teams. They averaged 95.1 yards per game on the ground and rushed for 1,617 yards for the season. The Las Vegas Raiders averaged 363.8 yards per outing, which ranked them 11th in football. The Las Vegas offense racked up 1,104 yards of penalties on 124 infractions, which ranked 2nd in the league in terms of making mistakes. They gave away 14 picks while losing 10 fumbles, and they earned 217 first downs. The Raiders surrendered 25.8 points per game, which had them ranked 26th in football. Las Vegas surrendered a total of 1,943 rushing yards, 114.3 yards per contest, in addition to 18 touchdowns, by way of the ground game throughout last season. They conceded 29 touchdowns through the air and 222.9 yards per contest, which had them ranked 13th in the league. The Raiders' defense participated in 1,103 plays, which was good for 24th in football. Overall, they allowed 439 total points. Their defense compiled 15 takeaways, 9 fumbles recovered and 6 picks in the previous season. With Trevor Lawrence riding the pine, the focus will be on Jacksonville's trio of other quarterbacks. C.J. Beathard, Jake Luton, and Kyle Sloter all figure to get some reps here. Beathard has some NFL experience tossing for 3,502 yards and 18 touchdowns over 4 seasons with the 49ers and Jacksonville. He has an 81.4 career QB rating. He will be worth monitoring here as he is listed as questionable with a groin injury. Jake Luton struggled in limited work last season, throwing for 624 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. He figures to fare better against second and third string defensive units here. Finally, Kyle Sloter is coming off a USFL campaign with the New Orleans Breakers, in which he tossed for 1,798 yards and 9 touchdowns, while also firing 11 interceptions across 9 games. When looking at the QB rotation for Thursday night, the first man up is Nick Mullins, who has significant experience at the NFL level over 4 seasons. He has fired for over 4,600 yards, while throwing 26 touchdowns against 22 interceptions. He owns an 87.3 QB rating. Next is Jarrett Stidham, who got some limited reps back in 2019 and 2020 for the New England Patriots. He owns just a 46.4 QB rating, completing 24 of 48 career passes with 2 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Finally, undrafted rookie Chase Garbers out of Cal State is a bit of a mystery. Last preseason, Las Vegas put up 47 points over their 3 exhibition games, while the Jags put up 68. Both teams have new men at the helm this year, so it will be interesting to see how each coach approaches their first game with a new squad. While we will have to wait to see the big names like Lawrence, Etienne, Carr, and Adams, there will be some significant experience under center Thursday night. Look for hungry veterans in Mullins, Stidham, and Beathard to successfully move the ball against second and third units. We don't have to see either side light up the box score to clear this figure.